Hi, Samantha. Well, it was a Marcus Rashford masterclass at Old Trafford. The 20-year-old forward scored twice as Manchester United held on to beat Liverpool 2-1 and strengthened their grip on second place in the English Premier League. The win means Jose Mourinho's side narrowed the gap on runaway leaders Manchester City to 13 points, at least until City play at Stoke on Monday. They're now 5 points clear of third-placed Liverpool. Klopp's side improved after half-time, but it took an own goal to reduce the gap when Eric Bailly turned Sadio Mane's cross past David De Gea while attempting to clear at the near post.
I don't remember a dangerous situation to our goal, so was controlled by them having the ball, controlled by us not having the ball. So I think we deserve the victory, but of course a big match. I don't know because I don't have binoculars, but my feeling is that the referee was also very good, and I think a big game where nobody goes home disappointed with the emotion, the quality, the level and the intensity.
So confirmation of that early result in the English Premier League. Elsewhere, Newcastle, after just over an hour played against Southampton, they look to be going 5 points clear of the relegation zone. They're 3-0 up at St James's Park, while bottom side West Bromwich Albion are in trouble. They're 2-1 down at home against Leicester. Chelsea take on Crystal Palace later on Saturday. In Spain, Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice for Real Madrid as they beat Eibar 2-1. Real now 4 points behind Atletico Madrid in third in the Primera División. Later, it's top against bottom as Barcelona travel to face Malaga. To Rugby Union, and Ireland are on the cusp of being crowned champions of the Six Nations. Their bonus point win over Scotland in Dublin means the maths are simple. England will have to beat France in Paris. No mean feat on its own. And on top of that, scored 4 tries in the process to keep their title hopes alive. Anything less, well, Joe Smith's side will win their third Six Nations in 5 years. They produced a clinical performance to see off Scotland 28-8. There were tries from Conor Murray, Sean Cronin and a double from Jacob Stockdale, which means Ireland find themselves 10 points clear at the top of the table. Regardless, they'll go to Twickenham next week with a Grand Slam. France versus England kicks off in just under half an hour. Mikaela Shiffrin has won the Slalom World Cup title for a 5th time after taking victory at Offschwang in Germany. Shiffrin now has an unassailable lead over Slovakia's Petra Vlhova, with one race of her favourite discipline to go next week. The American, who was 4th in the event at the recent Winter Olympics, took her 11th World Cup win of the season ahead of Swiss rival Wendy Holdener and Frida Hansdotter of Sweden. A 58-ball century from Johnny Bairstow helped England to a 7-wicket victory in the deciding ODI against New Zealand in Christchurch. Earlier, England had bowled the Black Caps out for 223, with Chris Woakes and Adil Rashid both taking 3 wickets to reduce the hosts to 93 for 6. Only a partnership of 84 between Colin de Granholm and Mitchell Santner helped the Kiwis any sort of respectable target. It didn't matter. Bairstow's innings helping the tourists seal the series 3-2, England winning with over 17 overs remaining. While South Africa are building a lead against Australia on day 2 of the second test in Port Elizabeth, half-centuries from Dean Elgar and Hashim Amla saw the Proteas overhaul Australia's first innings total of 243. The latest score is 263 for 7 for South Africa. And in the latest match in the T20 Tri-Series in Colombo, Sri Lanka made 214 for 6 from their 20 overs. Kusal Perera hitting 74 for the home side. Bangladesh, though, out of the blocks at breakneck speed. They were 63 for no loss after 5 overs, but they now find themselves 96 for 1. And that's all your sport. Back to you, Samantha.
Thanks very much, Mark. Let's go back to our top story now. Talks between the EU, Japan and the US have broken up without any exemptions from pending steel and aluminium tariffs being agreed. Well, let's get the latest now from Adam Fleming, who is in Brussels. Adam, you have the very latest for us. Bring us up to date.
Yeah, so no breakthrough is basically what's happened after this trilateral meeting, as they describe it, between the European Commission Trade Commissioner Cecilia Malmstrom, the Japanese Trade Minister, who was invited as well, and Robert Lighthizer, the US Trade Representative. In a tweet, Mrs. Malmstrom said that she'd had a frank discussion with her US counterpart. We all know that's diplomatic code for pretty robust language. It seems there is no exemption yet on the table for the European Union. Mrs. Malmstrom has been pushing for one, saying that the EU EU is a close security and trading partner, so it doesn't make any sense for the EU steel and aluminium industry to be caught up in these potential tariffs on imports into the US, and they're going to continue discussions next week until there is more clarity on how those exemptions might work. Although talking to EU sources, they say look at some of the other things that were discussed in that meeting, the regular business, where the three parties were trying to talk about measures to tackle distortions caused in the global economy by China. They're pointing to that as evidence of those are areas where they can work with the US, and surely that's proof to the US government that the EU is an honest partner, and therefore they shouldn't be punished by having these extra tariffs added to their steel and aluminium imports.
Just how much EU aluminium and steel goes to the US? What kind of an impact will it have on the industries across Europe?
So it's about €5 billion a year of steel goes from the EU across the Atlantic to the US. Although people are saying that the tariffs, if they are imposed as planned, would only reduce that by about 1%. So not a huge amount. Where the real significance, I think, lies is what this means for the multilateral global trading system, because the EU is incredibly unhappy that Donald Trump is using this argument that it's about national security. The EU says this is not about national security, it's about protectionism, pure and simple. And if you start using national security, then that means you're undermining the global trade rules that pretty much everyone has signed up to. That's what they're really worried about in the long term, not just the steel industry.
OK, Adam in Brussels for now, thank you. Well, that's it for me for now. Don't forget, you can get in touch with me on Twitter. I'm at Samantha TV News. Do stay with us here on BBC World News. Plenty more to come. Bye for now.
Hello there. Storm Felix has been battering parts of Iberia, the Atlantic coast seeing the strongest of the winds and some big waves as well, shown by this swirl of cloud here. Now that storm, the area of low pressure, will continue to bring some very windy weather and some wet weather for a while across this part of Iberia. The centre of the storm heads northwards and weakens, so the winds will gradually become lighter over the coming few days. But already some weather fronts pushing their way eastwards to bring a mixture of rain and snow. The quietest weather on Sunday is going to be across the eastern side of Europe. Some spring sunshine for the Carpathians, across Greece. Clouding over, though, for the Dinaric Alps. Some heavy snow for the Alps, some heavy rain further south across Italy, and a mixture of rain and some snow over the higher ground in Iberia. Some heavy showers pushing their way across France. And we've got this band of cloud and snow pushing northwards across Scandinavia during Sunday and Monday. Lots of showers to the south of that. The winds easing down, though, significantly across Iberia, and at least there'll be some sunshine on the way for the Balearics. It'll be a dry couple of days, I think, in Madrid. A fair bit of cloud around here. Temperatures around about average for London and Paris over the outlook, and in between the downpours there'll be some warm spells of sunshine in Rome. The best of the sunshine, probably, towards Athens. 20 degrees should be lovely. We should find temperatures at last above freezing in Moscow.
Hi, Samantha. Well, it was a Marcus Rashford masterclass at Old Trafford. The 20-year-old forward scored twice as Manchester United held on to beat Liverpool 2-1 and strengthened their grip on second place in the English Premier League. The Women's Jose Mourinho's side narrowed the gap on runaway leaders Manchester City to 13 points, at least until City play at Stoke on Monday. They're now 5 points clear of third-placed Liverpool. Klopp's side improved after half-time, but it took an own goal to reduce the gap when Eric Bailly turned Sadio Mane's cross past David De Gea while attempting to clear at the near post.
I don't remember a dangerous situation to our goal. So was controlled by them having the ball, controlled by us not having the ball. So I think we deserve the victory. But of course, a big match. I don't know because I don't have binoculars. But my feeling is that the referee was also very good. And I think a big game where nobody goes